Right, so this is the rubric for part 2. This essentially is your proposal now. So it is the document that, although we're not going to have an ethical clearance committee, we will have to have some sort of meeting, and I don't even think that distance has a P-gal or, oh geez, today. Yeah, it's so it's again 14 days, Mads. Us, like, these are the stuff that infuriates me. It's bloody soon. Okay, you know what? We've done it once, we'll do it again. It's just a heck of a lot more work. So let's go, and let me just do without slides. Let me just do what I normally do. I honestly, if I can't lecture this without slides, I should not be doing this. It's truly, honestly, and it's not arrogance. It's, if I don't know this, I shouldn't be doing this, and that is the truth. I'm a little bit annoyed with myself because I put slides together and I've no cooking clue where I had shoved it. I'm a little bit frustrated with myself, actually. Let me just see if I stuck it under my part-time group. I'm being an idiot again. What did I do here? Okay, I obviously don't know where I've saved it. Okay. I have to mark part 1, but you can carry on without part 1 being marked. So don't worry about that. We can't wait for part 1 to be marked. Honestly, guys, I am so snowed under with work. It's I cannot tell people the pressure I'm under, and it's not an excuse. This is my job, and this is my job. I will get it marked. That I have to do. Unfortunately, I'm given 10 days because of the nature of this, so I have to move my butt a little bit. Okay, everyone, let's have a glance at this. So the research topic. Now we've got the topic, so don't tamper with what you have. It's your title, and it gives us an idea of the context within which the title sits. So we want to describe the topic in terms of the nature of what has brought us to this particular research. I think we need to, in our topic, make sure that there are references. It has to give us some sort of introduction to some sort of outline in terms of what had brought us here, why this is important to research, what the broader context is of the actual research. So it really is this justification of the choice of topic. In terms of the title itself, so we're looking at the title as the single phrase. I will give you feedback on titles when I finish marking, so don't worry about the title at this stage. And obviously the feedback will arrive. So the topic and title, we can leave that for a second. It's not that urgent. The stuff that we'll work on is this. Now, again, this is not ideal. I don't know why they have this paradigm thing included there. Please just focus on the problem statement. So we're only concerned about the problem statement. Sorry, did I also in the one thing I also want to mention, and I'm pretty sure that I haven't mentioned this already, is in your introduction, in giving us a background, what I want us to do is make sure that we have some sort of attention grabbing opening. Now, I don't know if I had shared my story about COVID and the kind of attention grabbing opening I would use. Can somebody just tell me whether I have shared it? I lecture quite a bit of research. I'm looking after about 60 different research projects at the moment via supervisors. Okay. And I did share examples as well. So I want you guys to start thinking of that example as well. So for me, it is the notion, and you'll see that the examples that I shared already is very much there. Did I share some of the more modern topics, the updated topics with you guys? Let me show you. So in adjusting your titles, you'll see that we are trying to get a little bit more catchy in our titles. I want to share with you some of the newer ones that we've used, and let me just see. Resi for business, for commerce, HBCM. Guys, you did see I uploaded a couple of textbooks for you as well. Grade Center. Yeah, Poppy is not going to be happy with me, but I'm tired of Poppy anyway. So let me try and, oh, for Pete's sake. Right, so let me start with severe. Yeah, let's use severe. So this is the stuff that we've done in BCom. This is now frozen. Sorry, guys. For Pete's sake. Have a glance at this as a title option, and I want you to try and think. Now, if you don't want to go this route, that's absolutely fine. But guys, please remember that we have a blue moon tonight, hey? That Saturn is also visible. So have a glance at that as a research title, as a reworked research title. This is a qualitative research project, so you won't use words like exploring. But what I'm saying is, if we want to really start being impressive, the stuff that takes us from 70 to 80, from 80 to 90, this is on a very, very famous energy drink company, and it's accommodating AI within the omni-channel marketing approaches. I'm not a marketer, but I have an idea what omni-channel marketing is, omni-channel retailing is. Very cleverly has done that energy boost, and then the potential of, if you want to go that route, it would be quite nice as a spruce it up type approach. This is my favorite one. This really is my favorite one, and it's turning out to be a really, really good study as well. I really, really enjoyed this one. He's looking at how coffee shops that are non-branded, not linked to these chains, are surviving, and the sort of strategic approaches that can be adopted by your local coffee store, and taking on the big guys like Mug and Bean, and we all know who the big guys are. I like this one. He goes roasting the competition, and then he looks at that as his research topic, or his research title. My apologies. So you get a sense of what you can do with yours, what you can do.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, go, Mads.
I just wanted to, because I spoke last time about me struggling to transition from the one and see where we're going to. So I just wanted on that note, and now with the problem statement. So obviously in our first one, we would have had the introduction where you then clarified it had to be catchy, and some of us then in that context would have used a quotation to catch the attention and then go into like a description. Can you just maybe give clarity? Because I see this is more like a 2 or 3 word phrase.
No, but this is how we're going to adjust our titles. So this is adjusting your title. So he would have also had, and I hope he did, I'm not supervising him. Oh yeah, so he's done the same thing. I would have done it slightly differently. I would have done that at the top.
I see it now. Okay, thank you.
So what you've done is great, but I'm looking, if we want to make the, not just the introduction pop, if we want to make the title pop. Okay, so this is not the problem statement, this is the title. Okay, we'll look at the problem statement now. This is not the best problem statement, and you'll see that it was a 65% assignment, but it's not the end of the world. So this is the title. So in terms of the problem statement, that's where I'm going now. Sorry, Mads. In terms of the problem statement, I think for me, there are 3 elements that sorry, let me go back there. Where are we now? Is everyone on this call doing quantitative research?
No, I'm doing qualitative.
Okay, no, it's easy. We will accommodate both. Right, so in terms of the outline, you'll do your title. You'll do your title. I'm just going to do it the way I would do it. Where is that guy? And then your next main heading would be your introduction. Sorry that I do it this way, but it if you misspell it, it won't pick it up as a. Right, so introduction, and this is where you do your bit of introduction with the pop and your background. So I would do the background and things like that here. So in your introduction, discuss background, etc. I don't want two topics on top of each other. So in your introduction, you'll put in your background, etc. Now, I'm not going to give these as headings. Remember that catchy opening, etc. And I'll also remember, and you'll see the rubric around the background. Right. So as your first subheading under the background, and I'm under the introduction, I'm going to turn all of this still as part of the introduction, as part of the layout. So your first subheading will be your problem statement. Make this a bit bigger. So your problem statement. In terms of the problem statement, there are 3 elements that I want to see in your problem statement. And please don't write A, B, and C because it will just annoy me. But my brain is, honestly, it's a carousel going around with lights flashing and noise. And I suffer from adult ADHD, and I think you guys could infer that from my lectures. But for me, a good problem statement has 3 elements. You have part A. Part A essentially is the ideal. Like proper English. I'm not going to discuss that yet. Part B is the deficiency, the actual problem. Let's call it the actual problem. Don't use these headings. It's just the breakdown of this. And then part C the process to be adopted in the research. Now, please remember, I don't know why I put those caps in there. I'm an idiot. Come on. Right. So I'm going to start with part B. So part B, the actual problem. The actual problem, and guys, you need to take notes now. The actual problem is the deficiency. It is the shortfall. If you don't have a problem statement, you don't have a reason to do your research. Every bit of research is based around solving a particular problem. So the problem that exists guides essentially everything. One of the terms that you'll hear me use, and you'll get tired of me using this term, is the golden thread. The golden thread is that magic thread that runs throughout your research, and it's essentially the thing that ties your title to your background to your problem statement. For me, I always think of, we start with the problem statement. It guides that golden thread, and we always tie everything back to that. It's the language we use. It's the problem statement will guide our research hypotheses, our research questions, our research objectives, will guide the literature review. It will guide everything else. And at this stage, we've obviously used our title to guide our thinking around the literature review. So if we look at the actual problem, it is the deficiency. It is the reason that we're doing the research. It is the shortfall. It's the difference between the ideal and the reality. So you have to ask yourself, why is it necessary to do this research? What issue am I trying to address? What problem am I trying to address? Mads, what are you trying to sort out in your research?
So on my side, based on the research I did for part 1, there's been a lot of studies with different variables that link to job satisfaction, but the one that's clearly missing is whether employee benefits have any effect at all on job satisfaction levels. So that's where I'm coming in with mine.
Okay, so what is the yeah, Heidi, Matt, talk? Yeah, I'll do it 8:30. Please bring the rollabout inverter here if the lights go off. Okay. Sorry, guys. My son has found the blue moon in the telescope. Sorry, that was a bit unprofessional. My apologies. I'm making you feel guilty. So what is the actual problem? The problem is we have all. Sorry, just say that again. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. That was so unprofessional. Oh, guys, you know that I'm unprofessional. Just say that again, Matt. Sorry, that was really useless.
So basically, there's a lot of research with regards to different variables contributing or taking away from job satisfaction levels, except that there's little to no research with regards to the relationship of the perceived value of that employee benefits have on job satisfaction levels.
So if you think of it, the problem is we keep providing employee benefits, but we don't really know whether those employee benefits and which of those employee benefits actually has any relationship with job satisfaction. And in reality, we could be throwing good after bad. So the real issue is it worth giving these benefits if we don't know that we are actually getting some satisfaction level, some sort of return on the money and the time and the effort that we put into constructing these specific benefits? Is that about what the problem is?
Yes. So that brings it into a good perspective. I see where you're going with that.
Okay. So that's your problem. That's the actual. Now remember, in terms of part B, and I'll get to everyone else in a second. In terms of part B, you have to support it with literature. So you can't just state opinions. You have to support it with literature. So you have to go and look and unpack it with supporting literature. So you'll take what I've just said and you'll support it with evidence from scholarship, from literature. But the truth is, why keep giving benefits if we don't know if that giving those benefits has any effect whatsoever? And it's essential that we find that out. Okay. Ambs, tell me yours, Amber.
So I'm looking at if the pandemic had an effect on brand preference in the purchasing decisions of food and hygiene products.
Okay, so again, the simple truth is, when people go out and buy brands, we advertise, we stock shelves with brands, but post 2020, the world has changed and people have had to change what they purchase, and people have taken on new purchasing patterns. And if we don't find out how those purchasing patterns essentially have adjusted and how brand preferences have changed post 2020, we could be investing our advertising, our marketing strategies and practices in the wrong area. We might be stocking shelves with the wrong products. And it's important that we find out what these adjustments post 2020 have been. And also, you know, where are we currently in terms of those brand preferences? I don't know if that captures yours well enough, your problem, your actual problem.
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Now remember the same thing, Amber. You have to support it with relevant literature, and there will be literature on that. There absolutely will be literature on that. I mean, the weirdest thing for me is I've always used hand sanitizer. I'm not OCD. Well, I'm a little bit OCD on hygiene. So I've always used hand sanitizer. I always have. So it never changed my pattern in terms of sanitizer use. I've always had hand sanitizer in my car. But I can tell you now, very few people now use hand sanitizer. Is that a fair comment?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and for me, nothing has changed. Obviously, I have some issue in terms of my lungs. I've had asthma my entire life, and my lungs are slightly damaged. So I can't risk getting ill, and I'm a contractor, so I don't get sick leave and anything like that. So I think you know what you've got to do there. Okay, Ransom, tell me yours, Boya.
Mine is around self-efficacy among
Okay.
Generation X, and then there are trust in online purchase.
Okay. So, that's wonderful. I mean, I don't think that's been investigated, Boya. Has that been investigated? Because the reality is, one of the problem is we don't know how many of Gen Xers are being held back from transitioning to online purchases because they don't actually know how to use. They don't have the belief in themselves in terms of using in terms of using online purchasing technologies, of using the apps that are available. And it's more a competency and a self-belief thing. And if we know that, we can start capacitating people in terms of giving that kind of support to help people transition across and therefore increase our customer base, etc. Is that a fair reflection of what your problem is?
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's exactly what I'm trying to work on, to
Okay.
increase sales among Generation X also.
Yeah. So that and remember, it's Bandura's self-efficacy, isn't it? Boy, I can't remember who is self-efficacy.
Yes, it is
This is
Bandura.
Bandura.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. It's a wonderful concept, and but your research, guys, is so bloody cool. Your research is seriously cool, and again, support with literature. So that's easy enough to do. And as I said, if you don't have an actual problem, you can't actually do research. The ideal is what we ideally want. So this is the dream situation. The ideal is, in terms of, and I'm just going to go with Ransom, is that Gen Xers have the self-belief, have the self-efficacy to use technology in order to transition to online purchases and use modern technologies that essentially will aid in making their lives easier. Um, in terms of the benefits, we know that there is a clear line of sight between benefits provided and job satisfaction, as we can then focus on the benefits that matter when we look at job satisfaction. The ideal is that we know the brands that are preferred. And if we know the preferred brands, we can change our marketing strategies. We can change our strategies around what appears on shelves. So it's easy, the ideal, but the ideal can only be written once you've got the problem. Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense. Yeah.
That's cool. And then the process to be adopted in the research, it literally is you just writing, and obviously depending on quantitative or qualitative research. In this research, I will be adopting a qualitative process using or involving face-to-face, open-ended interviews in order to examine the key elements of making the transition from the problem to the ideal. And you can write it a lot better than that. I mean, that's not. Or I will be adopting a quantitative process involving the use of surveys, assessing the kind of benefits, assessing the relationship between the levels of self-efficacy and the adoption of online technologies in online purchases, or in technologies in online purchases. So that's what you're telling me. You're telling me the journey that you're going to take in this research. Does that make sense? It's very clear in my mind.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Okay. Guys, I hope that makes that problem statement a lot easier. The A, B, and C, I don't want to see the A, B, and C because it will honestly drive me over the edge. because that's not the intention of A, B, and C. The A, B, and C
Sorry.
is a framework. Yeah, go for it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
so just wanted to know with regards to the actual methodology in terms of how we're going to actually like investigate the topic. I understand what you're saying, like quantitative, we'd use surveys or whatever. That actual process of getting that data, is that something we will get more clarity on later in the
Oh, yeah.
process?
Oh, yeah. No, we'll go through this. What you'll do is you'll use Google Forms. You'll use Google Forms. Google Forms is incredibly intuitive. There's only one thing that will be changed, and we'll talk about it closer to the time. You'll use a Likert scale, a 5-point Likert scale, and we'll use that. Don't panic too much, but I think you know what a Likert scale is. So if you open Google Forms, so this is the quantitative people, okay? Yours will be interviews. So you'll put together, Amber, you'll put together an interview schedule, and we'll work on that. Don't worry about that. Google Forms. Hold on, let's just get there quickly. Oh my gosh.
Can I just ask a question while you're searching?
Yeah, go.
When
Yeah,
we hand
go.
in our part 2, are we handing in the part 2 with the part 1, or is it just the part 2?
Just part 2. If they
Okay.
say you have to add in part 1, don't. I'm not. I don't
Okay.
need to see both. Really,
Okay.
that would annoy me intensely. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just look at that one there. So that's it. But there's so many variations, and you can set it up. You can figure it out. If not, I'll bring in one of my students from the honors class, who's an absolute boff. He's an absolute gem of a kid as well. He'll help you guys. I'm pretty sure he'll put together a little video for us. But I think you guys know how to do this stuff. And remember, we're only 7 in this group, so I think you guys will help each other, so I'm not too worried about that. So please don't panic about that. That stuff is minor details. Oh yeah, no. You know what to ask. Remember, you know what to ask because you're using existing scales. I remember the first thing I said when we did this is that we're going to use existing scales. So you're not going to do your own questionnaires. We're going to use existing scales. I don't know if you remember that, Madeline. We're going to use existing scales. So you're going to just cherry pick questions out of the existing scales. Oh no, we're not, because if you use your own questions, you have to validate and go through a series of painful exercises. We're not doing that. Why would we want to reinvent the wheel? Your questions we'll put together, but honestly, Amber, I'm an absolute boff at that. I'm so humble. It's so difficult to be so humble, but I really am a boff at that. So don't worry about that.
Thank you.
I'm so arrogant. Right. Ignore this horse manure here. That paradigm, it's just a load of rubbish. Right. Then research questions. And I'm not sure what they were thinking here. And it will look like this. Okay. So the next subheading is will be research questions. Now, this you have to remember. If you're doing quantitative, you will have one research question. Quantitative research questions will be, what is the relationship between, within the context of? So what is the relationship between levels of self-efficacy and the adoption of online technologies and the adoption of online technology in purchases. And you can, I don't want you to use online twice in a sentence, Ransom. And that's yours. Is what is the relationship between levels of job satisfaction and the use of and the use of benefits? Very simple. One question only. You can also say, what is the effect of this on that? I would just go, what is the relationship between? That is quantitative. Qualitative. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, hold on a second. Quantitative. I'm just going to lead it as, don't use that, we don't need a heading. Yeah. I can pull the blanks. Qualitative is a pain in the place where we don't like pains. Okay. Amber, you have 3 questions. Question 1 will be your overarching question. And essentially, your overarching question will be the broadest question you can ask about this particular piece of research. Will be the broadest question you can ask about this particular piece of research. I want to underline it. I'm just going to Control-I it, otherwise it's going to look really crud. So your overarching question is, what is the broadest question you can ask about this research? Let's quickly think about that.
That question just be, for example, for mine,
Yeah.
did the pandemic have an effect on purchasing decisions?
Okay, so remember, all your questions have to be open-ended, but it's a good point that you actually said this. You need to imprint that on your brain, okay? Only what and how questions. Okay. Can I suggest something? How have purchasing patterns? No, sorry, sorry, I've got so many topics on my mind. How have purchasing patterns related to brand decisions changed? That, just take that in terms of your title and your topic.
So would I not say anything about the pandemic?
Yeah, no. Post-pandemic, you will obviously say post-pandemic.
Okay.
Okay. So the overarching question. Okay, just tell me again very quickly. So your problem, just remind me again. Sorry, I'm trying to do a hell of a lot. Okay.
So my problem would be oh.
No, don't worry.
It is.
I'm
trying to find where I just wrote it. No, I just wrote it. Oh, I can't find it.
I'm a bully, don't worry.
I don't actually, I can't find it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's post brand. How has brand decisions changed post brand? That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. How? Yeah. That's it. So how has brand decision? No. As brand choices. Hey.
Brand preference.
Oh, well, that's the word. I'm such an idiot. Sorry.
Yeah.
How has brand preference changed post the COVID pandemic amongst, and I can't remember what specific area. It's that
Yeah,
kind of question.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. The pod, and then we will check it again, obviously, and we'll work on it. I'm honestly, I've got about, I honestly have about 60 topics that I look after, and that's genuine. Then you have your 3 clarifying questions. I'm going to call it clarifying questions, okay?
Okay.
For want of a better term. So, and I'm only allowing 3, okay? The best way to think about these clarifying questions is to think of the process involved in that brand decision taking. What are the sort of the sub processes? Is it yeah, you see, I'm not a marketer. Sorry, Amber, I really am not a marketer. But what are the processes that we would consider the sub elements of that brand choice, that brand preference?
Would it not be like the prices of the specific brands?
Okay, so yeah, so
Or the
you'll say
popularity of the
what
brand?
role has prices played in brand preference? So prices, okay. So are you thinking the 4 Ps? Is that it?
Yeah, I was thinking of that.
Well, then give me 4. So price, promotion, place,
Product.
and product. There are your
Okay.
4 Ps. Give me
Okay.
4. Okay. So the way I want you to depict it is as follows. I'm just going to open Paint. So this will be your overarching question, will be there. And then your sub-questions, just indent them, and shove them there for me. Okay. That
Okay.
broadest question, and I've not done it too big. So these are your research questions. Sorry, I'm writing with a mouse. Okay, those
Okay.
my handwriting isn't much better than that anyway, so don't think it does look better when I write with a pen. Okay, easy peasy. You're going to tell me what they are next week, okay? And we'll fix it if need be.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. Guys, you okay with that? The one thing that there's a bugger up in the rubric, but it's not the end of the world. If you are doing quantitative, your next heading, okay, will be, this is for the quantitative people. If you're doing quantitative, your heading will be hypotheses. Okay. You'll have 2 hypotheses. You'll have 2 hypotheses. You will have a null hypothesis and an alternative hypothesis. Oh, I don't know how to put a footnote in here. Oh gosh, I'm not going to even try and do it. Hold on, I know it's somewhere in here, and I know I'm self-taught in Windows, so in Word, so this is a bugger up. I don't even know where insert is anymore. It looks like this. Sorry, I'm not going to try and figure this out. Your null hypothesis would look like, your alternate hypothesis would look like that. And your null hypothesis would be like that, H0. So H1, H0. Yeah. Alternate and null. I'll put them separately. Sorry, remember now what I showed there. You're going to do H1 and H0, H footnote 1 and H, and I don't know what the term is, guys. Alternate, and null. Okay, we'll do that as well there. So in terms of your hypotheses, you will, for the alternate hypothesis, and I want you to go and search, just go check in the field that you're doing your research, how they would write a hypothesis. But generally what it would be, this is a hypothesis this time, you would write something along the lines of, there is a relationship between employee benefits provided and levels of job satisfaction. There is no relationship between, right? So the alternate hypothesis suggests the relationship, the null doesn't. Simple as that. Okay, H1 and HO. You guys okay with that? No dramas with that, hey guys? It's very quiet. Who's joined me? Oh, it would be... Hi, Wits, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I will just catch up with the recording.
Yeah, you can listen to the recording. Don't worry. No, don't worry about it. Not the end of the world. Okay, and then if you're doing qualitative, sorry, the other two aren't talking to me. Oh, Maggie said it's all good. Ransom, are you there, boyo?
Yes.
Okay. If you're doing qualitative, you are going to write research questions. Don't write and confuse it. Remember, it messes with the golden thread. We don't want to see hypotheses written. We want to see research questions written. Don't bugger this up, okay? So your headings will change. Right. Why am I writing research questions? I'm an absolute idiot. It's research objectives. Sorry, Amber, you are dealing with an idiot here. So the way this works is as follows. Oh my gosh, that's an R and that's an O. Research objectives. Your research sub-question 1 will become your research objective 1. Your research sub-question 2 will become your research objective 2, and your research sub-question 3 will become your research objective 3. The way we write these research objectives would be you would write something like, and if you use this terminology, you can't end up in the wrong place. Determine ... So if your first question is the role that price plays, to determine the role that price plays in, and you can do that with the 4 Ps.
Perfect. That makes sense. Thank you.
Easy peasy. Okay, guys, I'm trying to keep it. Yeah, we're not going to kill ourselves. We're going to keep it simple. Hold on a second. Let me just save this as before I bugger this up. Oh, crumbs.
So, just a quick one while you're saving. I just wanted to know in the assignment brief, there's a section where they talk about consulting the postgrad handbook for guidelines on determining the size of the sample. Where do we
I
find that?
don't pay attention to any rubbish like that. Your sample for the interviews will be 3, and your sample for the survey will be 10. So don't pay attention to that. I spoke to the IIE about that. Our time is too limited. Having said that, if you want to consider publishing your research, I would increase my sample to 25 for quantitative and to 5 for qualitative. And to just say, I think there are people who are above and beyond students. I know that Ransom, you guys get points for publishing, and I think you get cash for publishing. I think if you co-publish, because I'll have to co-publish with you, you'll get 10 grand if you co-publish with me. Okay. Whether they'll accept, because this is a condensed version of research. So don't think about publishing, think about finishing. But the simple truth is, I think there are people here that are above and beyond. Okay. So don't worry about that at this stage. 10 and 3. I hope that answers your question, Mads. And I'm not pressurizing people into publishing. I'm not pressurizing people into publishing because, goodness me, I'm so busy to try and get me to publish. Yes, it's incredibly difficult. For Pete's sake, where is this now?
Does the research objective fall into the introduction? Is that a subheading?
Yeah, no, the way I've laid it out, these are all part of
Perfect.
your introduction.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to call it layout submission 2. Okay. To layout. Right. So that so far so good. Let's look at the next one. Yeah, aim and rationale of the study. So the aim is really telling us what the purpose of the research is, aim and rationale. So our next subheading, Control B, aim and rationale. For me, the easiest way to start this, and you cannot end up in the wrong place, is to use these words. The purpose of this study is to. You start with those words or words to that effect, you cannot end up in another place. You cannot end up in any other place. The purpose of this study is to. If you start with those words, you can't go anywhere else. As simple as that. Guys, the rationale would be essentially the answer. So the aim part, the rationale would be, oh, flippin' heck. The rationale part would be essentially, why is this worth studying? What would happen if I left this alone? Why is it essential that we pay attention to this? Why is this something worth spending time on? And you'll see that there's a slight link to the bits from the background. But ask yourself the question, what if I just left this alone? What would be the consequences of me just leaving this alone? And if you could find the answer to that, it will make a very big difference in your discussion of this. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop there tonight. I have the tiniest. I would love to meet with you on Saturday, but my son is up from Cape Town, and I really am not going to meet with you on Saturday. I have the tiniest gap on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. What are you guys doing on Tuesday at 6? I have class at 7:30. Amber. Okay. Mads, will you remind me that, oh yeah, because obviously you guys have just Paula and myself as your lecturers. Paula's not moved to Tuesday. Where did Paula move to? Has she moved to Mondays? Okay. Amber, oh yeah, Madeline, Amber, will you guys remind me to be there on Tuesday during the day? Because I will forget. Truthfully, I will forget. Okay, 6 o'clock. Okay, guys, are you happy with the way we're doing this? Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. These sessions help a lot, especially where I've never done research before. So it breaks it down into something that I feel like I can actually attain and bring together. So thank you so much for the effort
That's
that
cool.
you put
That's
into
cool.
these.
Yeah, guys, I'm not somebody who is going to rely on too much on slides, but I will put slides together. Truthfully, if I can't lecture something without slides, I don't lecture it. So that's my reality. Thank you so much. Go look at the blue moon, guys. My kid has found it. You can see Saturn as well. He's got quite a nice telescope, so that might make a big difference. So my 16-year-old is calling me. Guys, look after yourselves. Thank you so much, Mads. Cheers, and cheers, everyone. Whitney, yeah, just listen to the recording. Cheers, guys. Bye.